The dock worker strike is over. However, it could come back next year. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the dock worker strike coming to an end, at least temporarily. You see, from what I've been reading, although they did get a pay increase, we'll get into that in a minute. Although they did have some of their demands met, maybe they didn't get all the demands met. Maybe they didn't get all their money. So this strike could resume in January of 2025. Now, here's a few things before we get into the video and anything else. I think maybe they were kind of pressured to go ahead and get this done for now or pause it because of some supply issues. We see what's going on with the stores. You go to the store and try to get paper products, good luck. You want toilet paper, paper towels, good luck. Now, I know other things maybe kind of out of stock, but that right there, I don't understand the toilet paper hoarding. Are you going to eat the toilet paper? Are you going to use toilet paper for firewood in your fireplace when the power goes out? Are you trying to prep with the toilet paper? I don't really know what's going on. Maybe you're going to go on the TP mission, burn off a little bit of steam while you're not at your longshoreman job, getting paid, by the way, right now, $39 an hour, and the raise is what, $63 an hour? Pretty big amount of money. Now, before I go any further, let's get to some news clips here. Article first, this is New York Times. You see what it says, Port Union agrees to suspend strike. International Longshoremen Association received a new wage offer and will halt its walkout at East and Gulf Coast ports. Okay, so that started on Tuesday. Today's Friday, and there was already kind of a big impact. So you see what it says right here. So the United States Maritime Alliance has offered to increase wages by 62% over the course of a new 6-year contract. Okay, so you're a longshoreman, dock worker, you already get paid quite a bit of money. You're making 6 figures already a lot of times. If you're making below that, I don't really know. You see what it says right here. So $63 an hour at the end of the 6-year contract, and today it's $39 an hour. All right, and it says at the new dollar amount, the wages of East and Gulf Coast longshoremen would slightly exceed those that would be earned by the West Coast longshoremen, and they're part of a different union. Now, the thing about the West Coast guys is that a lot of their docks are already automated. That same thing could happen here. Now, before I get into all the automation talk, let's go ahead and skip to a news clip. The articles, everything will be in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Breaking news overnight, a potential economic crisis averted. U.S. ports getting back on track this morning after dock workers struck a tentative deal to end their strike. NBC's senior business correspondent Christine Roman's been all over this story. Christine, good morning. And what are the details?
Yes, good morning to both of you. You know, starting today, tens of thousands of union workers will return back to work after heading to the picket line on Tuesday. It's good news because the shutdown could cost the U.S. economy up to $4.5 billion a day. And a lengthy strike could have led to higher prices and shortages of goods ahead of the holiday season.
Now, let's pause for a minute. People that were going to the store like yesterday, going to Costco, buying toilet paper and stuff like this, you got to understand the retailers are already prepared for the surge because they already know what's going to happen. They know that there's a contract negotiation going on. They know there's a potential for a work stoppage as far as the products coming overseas. So they already knew to stock up in advance for the rush. So all that you did when you went out there and bought a lot of that stuff was purchase a lot of their excess inventory they already had lined up.
The union released a statement on Thursday expressing they had reached a tentative agreement on wages, and they've agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th. That's when they said they'll return to the bargaining table to negotiate all the other outstanding issues. So here's what
That's a pretty interesting time to come back. That's like right around the time of, you know, the election, the inauguration. It's right around that same time. Really funny how that works. But anyway.
Know so far. Sources telling CNBC that under this tentative deal, workers will see a near 62% wage hike over the course of 6 years. The union, remember, had originally asked for 77%.
Now, remember the original ask, 77% wage increase. Now, I thought that was going to be way too high, and I figured they were just trying to negotiate because I think One of the offers was like 50%, something like that. That was the original offer. Now, some said that was going to be great. That should be what they want. And the 77 is too high. But I figured they'd kind of meet somewhere in the middle, which is what it looks like right now. Okay, that's kind of what it looks like.
This increase would potentially raise the top longshoreman's wage to just over $63 an hour at the end of that 6-year deal. That's an increase from $39 an hour. Now, NBC News has reached out to the union for any more details.
And yes, these are very high paid jobs, which is part of the reason why they're so coveted. And it's a low barrier to entry. You could have gone to prison and did all that. Violent felons, it's whatever. Maybe if you got a drug felony, they might not let you. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of guys that have been locked up, a lot of guys with low education, they can do this job, make a nice living for themselves and their family.
But have not heard back. Now, President Biden also reacting to this deal, applauding the news, applauding both sides for coming together to reopen these ports, stating that Thursday's tentative deal represents critical progress toward a strong contract.
Well, it's crisis averted for now, but it's kind of kicking the can down the road. And there are these outstanding issues, which sounds like trouble. So what does that include?
You know, one of the biggest concerns right now, guys, is port automation, which is still under negotiation. What we're hearing.
I mean, truthfully, the reality is that they're not going to stop that. There's nothing you can really do to stop automation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. I'm going to let her finish.
From the dock workers is there is a big urgency here to protect their jobs against this fast moving technology. But you guys, the timing here is really important because we were already starting to see people.
You see the sign right there. Machines don't feed families, support ILA workers. ILA workers over machines, defend our jobs.
Kind of panic buying. You were starting to see skimpy store shelves in parts of the country because people were worried with COVID, the experience of COVID still fresh in their minds about shortages down the road. So you were starting to see some panic buying. Now these workers are back to work and they'll start, working through this backlog now.
Hey. All right. So there we have it. That's what's going on with the dock workers. Let me just talk about automation right quick, because this is a thing you really can't avoid. Now, part of the contract negotiation is an effort to protect workers from automation. The way that it works on left coast and other parts of the country where they have the automation on the docks, you don't really need so many longshoremen because the machines can do what a man can do. Okay. And this work, it's high paid. It's a coveted job, low barrier to entry, but it's not necessarily an easy job. I mean, you're going to be out there on the dock. It's cold. The water is cold. You up there, especially in the northern areas like New York, all of that. Listen, Baltimore, Dundalk is cold. I know some of the guys, the OG guys, would wear the coveralls with newspaper stuffed inside because they're trying to just keep the ocean breeze from just destroying them out there when they load and offload and at night, inclement weather, all kind of stuff. So rather than having to deal with that, rather than having to deal with contract negotiations, rather than having to deal with a union, they would just get a bunch of machines. Yes, the machines are expensive, but if the cost of a machine, let's say over a 5-year period, is less than what a worker would cost, then the machine is a viable answer. Here's what I got to say as I close. Anyone, especially young guys, you want to get out there in the workforce and have some sort of stability, work with your hands, do things that a machine cannot do yet. Okay. As far as I know, there's no machine that's going to go in there and do like underwater welding. The more, I guess you would say, extreme or difficult the skill is, the better that is for you. You're able to utilize that over a long period of time. And if it's back-breaking labor or something like this, well, look, get a high skill, go hard when you're young. You're 18, 19, 20, 21. You'll be all right. You could fall down a flight of stairs and not even having a scratch on you. You're pretty much impervious at a young age. So get your money at a young age, use your skills, and then once you get older, you can invest some of your money. You could play with stocks and real estate and live a less back-breaking life as you progress. But the main thing, have those hand skills, because that can help you at your house. You could do things without having to call somebody to come and fix and pay them an arm and a leg. Learn about things, learn about practical skills that cannot really be taken over by a machine. moving a box from one place to another, a machine can do that. But can the machine perform open heart surgery? Maybe at a certain point in the future, but as of right now, no. So do certain skills like that that cannot be reproduced by a machine. You'll be better off in the long run. And maybe you won't be right here trying to negotiate with the companies talking about, hey, please don't replace me with a machine because I'm not going to be able to feed my family. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what happened here? Do you think the pay increase makes sense? What, 61.5, 63%? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, shout out to these guys for getting some more money. But I think it's only a matter of time before automation takes over, because you can't really stop it, especially when guys are wanting more and more and more money. I understand. Hey, I get it. I'm not trying to get in the way. I'm not trying to hate. But at the same time, I understand. If it was me, I would see the writing on the wall. Like, I know my job is not really that much secure. Like, I need to figure out something else, because this is not necessarily going to last too much longer. Maybe I'm some kind of fantastic longshoreman and they want to keep me on and the gravy train keeps rocking, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe the technology is coming in. It always happens. Happened to me back in my younger days doing graphic design. Okay, here comes Canva, Fiverr, Instagram, all these things that are going to get in the way. I can't do what I did anymore. Now I got to adjust. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.